For almost 1,000 years, the world has whispered the same chilling tale. A hidden valley locked away in the mountains of Persia, a secret garden of impossible beauty, rivers of wine flowing between emerald lawns, fruits hanging heavy and sweet, beautiful women dancing in silk, promising eternal pleasures. Young men, eyes glazed from hashish, are led inside. They wake believing they have died and entered paradise. Then the old man of the mountain appears, a shadowy figure with absolute power. He promises them this bliss forever if they obey one command: kill. And so they do, slipping through crowds, daggers flashing, kings falling in their own palaces. Some return, some leap from towers without hesitation, smiling as they fall. This is the legend of Hassan-i Sabbah and his assassins, the world's first terrorists, drug-crazed killers bound by blind faith. That story has terrified and fascinated people for centuries. It shaped our ideas of secret societies, fanatical obedience, and political murder. It gave us the very word assassin. But here is the truth that almost no one tells. Almost every detail of that tale is fiction. A myth born from enemy propaganda, Crusader fear, Marco Polo's imagination, and centuries of European fantasy. Today, we cut straight through the legends to reveal the real history of Hassan-i Sabbah and the Nizari Ismailis. Let's start by dismantling the biggest myths, one by one. Myth 1. The Hashashin were drug addict killers. The name assassin itself comes from them, but the word Hashashin or Hashashia was never about drugs. It was a vicious slur thrown at them by their Sunni enemies, the Seljuk Turks. Think of it like calling someone rabble, scum, or druggy lowlife today. Pure insult, zero evidence. No contemporary Muslim source, not even the most hostile ones, ever described Nizari fighters taking hashish before missions. It was propaganda, designed to make them seem like mindless, depraved thugs instead of what they really were: disciplined, religiously motivated warriors defending their community against overwhelming empires. Myth 2. The secret paradise garden brainwashing. The most famous myth: Hassan built a secret paradise garden. Recruits were drugged, taken inside, surrounded by pleasures, convinced they had died and entered heaven, then sent on missions with the promise of return. This story exploded in Europe thanks to Marco Polo in the late 1900s and Crusader tales before that. But when the Mongol historian Ata Malik Juwaini entered Alamut right after its fall in 1256, he found no paradise, no gardens of delight, just practical water channels, food storage cisterns, and fortifications built for survival. The paradise was pure European fantasy, a mix of fear of the unknown and romanticized ideas of Islamic heaven. Complete fiction. Myth 3. Blind fanatics who leapt to their deaths. The image is terrifying. Fanatics so brainwashed they would jump off cliffs on command, smiling as they fall. But the Nizari Fidais, the self-sacrificing agents, were not zombies. They were deeply committed through religious conviction, not hypnosis. Hassan's core teaching was talim, absolute trust in the rightful imam or his da'i, a representative, on matters of faith. Their assassinations were strategic, calculated acts of asymmetric warfare, eliminating key Seljuk oppressors to protect a persecuted minority, not mindless suicide, targeted, effective, and terrifying to their enemies for exactly that reason. Myth 4. Hassan was a mad tyrant or supervillain. The cartoon version, a power-mad despot laughing in a mountain lair. The reality: Hassan-i Sabbah was a scholar. Born around the 1050s in Qum, Persia, to a Twelver Shi'i family. He studied theology, astronomy, geometry, converted to Ismailism in his late teens in Ray, Persia, traveled to Fatimid Egypt for advanced training, returned as a brilliant da'i or missionary. In 1090, he masterminded the seizure of Alamut, a near impregnable mountain fortress. He lived ascetically. He even executed his own sons for breaking strict rules, one for drinking wine. He was a revolutionary leader who built the Nizari Ismaili state to resist empire, not a villain drunk on power, now the real philosophy and legacy. The phrase, "nothing is true, everything is permitted," is often quoted as proof of chaos or amorality, but in its real context, it was about rejecting false authorities and seeking truth through the rightful imam. It was skepticism towards tyrants, paired with absolute obedience to divine guidance, not license to do anything, but freedom from false chains. Hassan died peacefully in Alamut in 1224. His state survived Mongol invasions, evolved, and today lives on in the global Nizari Ismaili community under the Aga Khan. The myths, they grew from Crusader fear, Marco Polo's tales, and European imaginative ignorance of the East. They shaped our idea of secret societies and terrorism, but they are mostly fiction. So, the next time you hear about drug-crazed assassins leaping from towers, remember the truth. They were not monsters. They were a community fighting for survival against empires, and their leader was not a mad tyrant. He was a scholar who changed history from the shadows. Hit like if this cleared up the legends for you. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Next week, we start at the beginning. Hassan's early life, his conversion, and the secret rise of the Nizari state. Comment below, what's the wildest assassin myth you believed before this video? See you next time.